Hey guys, coming at you with a dubbing video rather than a tying video. I've had a few people ask me how I make my radioactive dubbing that I use in some of my more colorful patterns. Kind of the thought process behind building this dubbing was I wanted something with a lot of color and also a little bit of UV. So I used the cerise and the chartreuse, and that kind of gave me what I was looking for as far as the UV responsive goes. So just like when you're painting with colors or anything else like that, you're gonna need a good base in order to kind of tie everything into. So I use this trilobal gray to kind of mute the colors a little bit more. And then I actually use this laser dub because it's a finer dubbing other than this trilobal, and it makes working with the trilobal dubbing a bit easier, so that way you don't have to like mash a bunch of wax on, because this trilobal stuff by itself, it's actually kind of a pain to get it on without using the thread. So kind of let's go through the process. I use a coffee grinder in order to blend my dubbing. I think I paid like $10 for this thing at like Target. So finding a cheap coffee grinder should be fairly easy. You know, you'll use this guy for years, so it's well worth the $10–15 investment. So anyways, let's go ahead and start. You don't want to overfill it because it starts to get like wrapped around in here and turns into a real pain. But you're going to want to get a pretty hefty chunk of gray first. We're just going to go ahead and mash that in there. Instead of just mashing the whole cube, I like to strip it and kind of thin it out a little bit more, kind of give it some fluff. Shove it off to the side, and then we're gonna go ahead and take our black laser dub, line that on the bottom too, and see, you'll notice it's like I said, it's a lot finer of a dubbing, so it's a lot easier to work with. I want a little bit more than that. So that right there will give us a fairly decent base to work with. So now we're going to start adding in our other colors and kind of see where we end up here. So you're not adding a whole lot of the colored portions of the dubbing, just enough to get that rainbow effect in there. Wow, that's way too much. So you want like half of that. And once you get into blending your own dubbing, you're going to find that there's really not a pattern you can't really figure out or get. See, that's a bit too much. So like, even though I don't really have, I have a good amount of colors as far as dubbing goes, but I can take anything in this little treasure box I got over here and blend it together. And, you know, it really allows you to hone in on that particular shade that you're looking for. Oh, for orange I also used ice dub, again, to kind of, you know, get away from using only the trilobal. That way, again, easier to work with, kind of helps thin out some of those fibers. So we're just about done here. Oh, too much blue. That looks about right. So this is like literally every color of the rainbow, but as you guys have seen in some of my patterns, turns out pretty fun, actually. So you go ahead and get this all stirred up. And it looks like it's not plugged in. So give me 1 second here. Alright. So yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking for here. I overfilled it slightly, but that's alright. So as you can see, it definitely has a lot of color to it. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of massage it by hand here real quick, just to kind of pull out, because you'll see, you know, sometimes you'll get these twisty bunches in there, so you just kind of want to work those out. I'm going to work those out by hand here real quick. Kind of fluff it back up. Put it back in there, give it a couple more shots real quick. Yeah, so that's getting to where we want it. I'm going to go ahead and just really give it one more shot. I like to get it nice and blended. Personal preference. You can stop here if you want. But I really like to give it a work over. Again, just kind of pulling all the fibers out so they lay nice and straight once I got it in here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So one of the things you want to kind of be on the lookout for as well is the that laser dub that we put in there. It's got a little bit longer of fibers than the other dubbing, so you know, maybe trim it up if you want when you put it in there. But this is really a great dubbing because it's got a lot of flash to it, while it's still like a darker rainbow color, other than say like your rainbow colors that you get for your scuds. What I really like about it is, again, going back to the chartreuse and the cerise that we put in there, is it's got a nice amount of radioactivity to it, without being too much. So that's one of the major reasons why I like this dubbing, is it's very UV reactive without overdoing it. So I like to keep a lot of my old bags around for me to just sort of mash all my different creations in. But yeah, once you get into mixing dubbing, there's really nothing stopping you from using your creativity and getting some pretty wild colors. So let me know how this works out for you guys. I'd be curious to see how many of you guys are using it, and you know, feel free to shoot us some patterns that you're using it in. It's always nice to see what other people are tying out there. Anyways, as always, guys, whip it.